This is the OTB Network.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's edition of Horses and Courses. I'm Anthony Mormino, sitting in for Jean Wood, who is off this week. She will be back in this chair next week, and we have 18 races to go, the final big weekend before the Breeders' Cup, October 29th at Belmont Park. And kicking off the 18 races, we're going to go to Delaware Park, a 2-year-old stakes, the Dover Stakes. We had 8 scratches, Southern Success 6-1 on the morning line. Odds on. Let's go to Delaware Park.
And they're off. Pretty even start for them all. Southern Success toward the inside. Mr. Alimony has the rail. Up on the far outside, Out of Rock and Willentz dropping back in the early going. That's Charming Image as they make their way into that first turn. Southern Success will lead them, but the first 4 are tightly grouped there around the bend. Southern Success by about 1.25 lengths. Right there, Mr. Alimony's pressing the issue a bit in second. Willentz takes to the rail nicely in third. Out of Rock, half length further back in fourth. And Charming Image settles into fifth as they make their way around the clubhouse turn. Opening quarter, 24 flat. And it's Southern Success on the front end by about 1 length. Mr. Alimony's right there, though, in a good spot in second. Then about 2.5 lengths further back to Willentz on the inside of Out of Rock. And Charming Image continues to trail about 8 or 9 lengths off the lead as they make their way toward the half-mile marker. Southern Success still by a measured length, with Mr. Alimony chasing in second. 2 lengths to Willentz on the inside. Out of Rock next in line, and 6 more to Charming Image. They've gone the half in 48 seconds flat. Identical quarters there as they make their way into the turn. Southern Success on the front end with Mr. Alimony still right there in second. Now it's about 4 lengths further back to Willentz. Out of Rock, and Charming Image is trying to rally from the back. The 3/8 to go, and Southern Success still going nicely on the front end by 2 over Mr. Alimony. Now it's about 6 or 7 to Willentz. Charming Image rallies past Out of Rock as they head for home. Right now a 2-horse affair. Southern Success still fending off Mr. Alimony, the 6 in 1, 12 and 2. Southern Success, Kendra Carmouche goes to work, leads it by 2.5 lengths. Mr. Alimony still the only one with a shot now second, 8 lengths further back to Charming Image third, but Southern Success is stretching out nicely, and Southern Success is going to take that over. Mr. Alimony is clearly second best. It's Southern Success to win it. Mr. Alimony getting second, Charming Image third.
And there's Southern Success as all 5 runners were exiting their maiden victory. Southern Success did it 10 days ago. 3-5 when the wagering was completed for Tim Ritchie's runner. Put the pedal to the metal right from the gate, was never headed, never even pressed, won off by better than 4 lengths. This is an offspring of Dixieland Band out of the mare My Success, who was by AP Indy. My Success is a half to the brilliant New York runner, a firm Success. So Southern Success makes it 2 convincing victories in a row down at Delaware Park, scoring a stakes victory in the 65th running of the Dover in only his 2nd career start. This was run over a sloppy sealed racetrack. The final running time for Saturday's Dover Stakes, 1:46 and 3. Friday night, under the lights, we had the Meadowlands Breeders' Cup Stakes race, a 1 1/8, a grade 2 with some very familiar names.
And they're off in the Meadowlands Breeders' Cup Stakes. Broken a line there from the outside. It's Ice Wind Fire speeding up for Bailey and going for the lead. Unforgettable Max from between horses now. Unforgettable Max will be the pacemaker early as they race to the first turn. Purge is right there saving ground, surges through on the rail, and Purge and Unforgettable Max together around the first turn. And jammed up early there was Tap Day in tight quarters around that first turn. Ice Wind Fire a close third on the outside. It's Alumni Hall saving ground fourth on the rail. Gambit 2 to Royal Assault fifth on the outside, followed by Tap Day sixth. Up on the outside comes Request for Parole. Early trailer, It's a Wonderful Life. 8 lengths from the lead, 23 and 2 down the backstretch. Unforgettable Max and Chris DiCarlo aboard, leading the pack here by a length. Purge on the inside second. Icewind Fire on the outside, stocks from the third position. Alumni Hall is fourth, midway up the backstretch. And on the outside, it's Request for Parole, getting closer fifth towards the inside, Tap Day. And between horses, Royal Assault, a gap 2-3 lengths to the trailer. It's a Wonderful Life still at the back. The half was 47. Unforgettable Max shadowed by on the outside, and now slipping through is Purge, and Purge has surges to command, and on the outside here comes Alumni Hall with Robbie Alvarado aboard, pouncing on Purge and John Velasquez, those two locking up. Unforgettable Max isn't done. He's fighting back gamely. Ice Wind Fire is there. Tap Day is trying to rally. Request for Parole is widest of all. 110-1. They're on their way home in the Meadowlands Cup. And on the inside, Purge is trying to hold on. He is desperate. Here's the late move from Tap Day on the outside. It's Tap Day unleashed by Abar Koa. And Tap Day is running away from them. Tap Day will upset. It's Tap Day and Abar Koa in the Meadowlands Cup.
And there's Tap Day scoring the victory at $9 for Tap Day, Ibar Koa, Edward P. Evans, Mark Henning. Nice victory in here, and kudos to Ibar Koa, who came out of the stirrups going into the first turn. You saw the little jam up there, and how infrequently do we see a jockey lose their stirrups, remain calm, cool, and collective, get back in the stirrups, relax. Alumni Hall, who was the 5-2 favorite, looked to be in a very good position for Robbie Alvarado. Purge, who hasn't won a graded stakes since winning the Jim Dandy in 2004, but ran lights out 2 races back. Purge finishes third as the second choice, but Tap Day, just a good victory in here for Ibar Koa, just showing some real cool as a cucumber type move. Tap Day has hit the board in the Suburban and the Saratoga Breeders' Cup, but inside the 8th pole, looked like a winner, drew off to win by a very convincing 3 lengths. So under the lights for the 28th running of the Meadowlands Breeders' Cup, Tap Day is your winner, 1 minute, 48 4/5 of a second. On Monday, north of the border at Woodbine, we had a 2-year-old stakes race, the Gray Breeders' Cup.
They're off in the Gray Breeders' Cup. And breaking smartly was Unification into the inside Bears Kid. Those two under the wire initially. Seaside Retreat attends the pace in third. LaHave is out of trouble on the outside, fourth as they head into the turn. Then we have Derby, who settles in behind that first group. That one is followed by Badge of Truth, and Snow Blitz trails in the early going. And it's Bears Kid who leads through an opening quarter in 23-3. And they head to the backstretch. And the Summer Stakes winner, Bears Kid, is dictating the pace. Coming on now and angling off the rail is Seaside Retreat to take over second. Unification is back in third and 4 lengths off the lead. Derby is sent up in between horses. Gaining ground at the rail is Badge of Truth. Badge of Truth has moved within 1.5 lengths of the lead. And Bears Kid is quickly overtaken now by Seaside Retreat. Seaside Retreat, it was almost like Bears Kid was waiting for him. Now Bears Kid kicks on again. Seaside Retreat outside, Bears Kid inside. To their outside is Unification. It is those 3 with less than 3/8 to go. LaHave is being scrubbed on out there 3 wide and is in 4th position and 2 lengths off the lead. Badge of Truth has no running room, and they hit the quarter pole. Inside Seaside Retreat and outside Unification. Bears Kid is tailed off. They're into the lane now, and Unification comes on the outside, takes the lead by a neck. Seaside Retreat tries to find some more. Badge of Truth is set down on the far outside by John O'Jones. Badge of Truth surging at Unification in the final 70 yards. Unification game and holding on. Unification wins the Gray Breeders' Cup 3/4 of a length, finishing second. Badge of Truth, and Seaside Retreat was third.
And there, Unification scores the victory. Very nice victory for Unification. We saw Unification up at Saratoga, finishing off the board 4th in the debut on August 17th. And that may show itself to be a high-quality maiden special weight race. Badge of Truth exits a runner-up position in the Grade 2 Summer Stakes. That's a mile race on a soft turf course earlier in the year at Woodbine. Seaside Retreat, 2 for 2, dirt and turf. This was Seaside Retreat was made the favorite for Pat Husbands at 2-1, but Unification, who was the 3rd choice, returning $8.66, a very handy victory, convincing 1 length. This is an offspring of Dixie Union. Out of the good runner, Devil's Orchid, who we saw in New York win the Distaff. She was also a Grade 1 winner. Devil's Orchid by Devil's Bag trainer Owen Hardy for Darley Stable. They win the 97th running of the Gray Breeders' Cup at Woodbine in a final running time of 1:46.2. Friday was opening day at Keeneland, and they have front-loaded their meet to get their horses ready for the Breeders' Cup. Friday, 2 stakes races on the card. First up, the 1.5-mile Sycamore on the turf.
And they're off. Let It Thunder, Tempered Steel, and Ball 4 with early speed. And there goes Ball 4, and he's rather determined to clear that inside traffic and to do it before they get to the first of 3 turns in this Sycamore Breeders' Cup. And Ball 4 will accomplish that objective. He gets over to the rail, leads it by just over 2 lengths. Noble Masterpiece moves up into second, around the outside of Let It Thunder. And then Dreadnought, who's placed outward from the rail, in 4th. Tempered Steel is toward the inside in 5th. Then Vangelis, who runs 6 lengths off the early lead, a gap of 3 more to Rochester, and Clear Forecast is the early trailer. 25 seconds is the time for the opening quarter. Ball 4 sets the tempo, leads at 1.5 lengths. Noble Masterpiece goes second by the same margin, and then Let It Thunder, Tempered Steel, Dreadnought on his outside, Vangelis right behind that pair. Rochester still next to last as they move under the line for the first time, and Clear Forecast the trailer, the half in 50 and 4/5 seconds, and the leader is Ball 4. Ball 4 continues to lead by 1.5 lengths. Noble Masterpiece goes second by 2. Let It Thunder is toward the inside third, flanked by Dreadnought. Tempered Steel is next on the rail. Then Vangelis, who's 5 lengths off the lead. 2 more to Rochester, who's yet to move. He's still next to last. And Clear Forecast is content to trail through 6 furlongs in 1:16 and 3. On to the backstretch. Ball 4, the leader, by 1.5 lengths. Noble Masterpiece tracks the leader from second. Gap of just over 2 more to Let It Thunder. Then Dreadnought. There goes Clear Forecast with a 3-wide move to the center of the course. Rochester moves up behind him, still 5 lengths from the front. Tempered Steel, then Vangelis, who's now last in between horses, but they are tightly bunched. 5 lengths covers them as they move on to the final turn. Here's Noble Masterpiece on the outside of Ball 4. Clear Forecast is still wide, now third, 2 lengths off the lead. Dreadnought is next, then Let It Thunder. Rochester is still 5 lengths from the front. Vangelis to his inside, and Tempered Steel is the trailer. They turn for home. Noble Masterpiece a short lead. Clear Forecast to the far outside. Ball 4 fights back toward the rail. Top 3 separated by 1 length. Then Dreadnought, Let It Thunder. Rochester, the grand 9-year-old gelding, is turning in a run from the outside. And how about Rochester? Here he comes with Clear Forecast on the outside of Noble Masterpiece. Vangelis is still 5 lengths away. Rochester, he is kicking on with a 5-length lead. Back to Dreadnought, who goes to second. Vangelis runs on late toward third. Rochester, the first 3-time winner of the Sycamore Breeders' Cup. He won it by just over 4 lengths in a time of 2 minutes 34 and 1/5 seconds.
And in the 11th running of the Sycamore, Rochester becomes the first 3-time winners, formerly in the company of Royal Stand and Gleaming Key as 2 race winners. But Rochester, a strong performance here, drawing off to win by nearly 4 lengths under Gary Stevens. And Rochester, this 9-year-old, the last time Rochester finished first under the wire was 24 races ago in the 2002 Sycamore at Keeneland. So just a very, very good training job by Jonathan Shepard. Finally gets all the laurels in this Grade 3 stakes race. Some familiar names out of the Man of War in New York. Dreadnought finishes second under John Luke Sameen, and Vangelis, 3-5 favorite in Friday's Sycamore. And Vangelis 0 for 9 in the United States on the turf, and you had to take less than even money. Another hit-the-board performance for Vangelis. Edgar Prado was aboard, but Rochester, just a terrific, terrific story in here for Augustin Stable in the familiar green and white halves silks. This runner has won the 2001, 2002, and now the 2005 Sycamore, and this was only the 11th running. And as I mentioned, a long time between drinks of water, 24 races, was put up once on a disqualification, but 24 times went to the post before crossing the finish line first. Friday's big event on opening day at Keeneland was for the 2-year-old fillies in the Darley Alcibiades at 1.16 miles.
And they're off in the Darley Alcibiades. She says it best. comes out running the best in the opening strides and clears all that inside traffic. She Says It Best goes right to the lead. Then Easy Slam comes out running in second. Ex Chalis up close in third. Performing Diva gets over against the rail in fourth. More Than Pretty away fifth. In between horses, Cool Wind went wide into the first turn. Now settles down in the three path as they head for the backstretch. Dixie Dreamer had a ground-saving trip around the turn. Then Maggie Slew flanked by Joint Effort, and a long way back to Tricks Pick, the distant trailer, 23-4. The time for the opening quarter. She Says It Best leads it by 2 lengths. Easy Slam is second by a length. Ex Chalis goes third by 2. Performing Diva is fourth by a length. Then More Than Pretty. Cool Wind on her outside. Dixie Dreamer against the rail. Gap of 4 more lengths to Maggie Slew. Joint Effort. Tricks Pick is still the distant trailer through a half in 48 1/5 seconds. She Says It Best leading Easy Slam by a length and a half. Ex Chalis stalking the pace third. Performing Diva looks toward the inside in fourth, still 3 lengths off the lead. Then Cool Wind on the outside of More Than Pretty. Maggie Slew picks it up. She'll have to go wide, still 6 lengths from the front. Midway on the final turn, She Says It Best leading Ex Chalis by a length and a half. And Performing Diva is third, still 4 lengths off the lead. Easy Slam dropping back toward Cool Wind. Maggie Slew and More Than Pretty have lots of running to do. They're still 9 lengths away. Turning for home in the Darley Alcibiades, She Says It Best leading Ex Chalis a length and a half. 2 more lengths to Performing Diva. She's third. Final furlong. Ex Chalis running after She Says It Best. Performing Diva is third. She Says It Best gunned down to the starting gate, right to the lead and right to the winner's circle. She Says It Best taking the Darley Alcibiades by 2.5 lengths over Ex Chalis in second, and Performing Diva was third in 1 minute 49 seconds.
She Says It Best scores the victory at nearly 10-1, and you know, a good ride here by Eddie Martin. Drew off from the far outside post, used some early giddy up to get position, got that position, and just rode the traditional Keeneland out early, get over and get home very quickly, except at Keeneland, if you've been looking at the charts, the final running time going to be very interesting as we have to adapt this to the Breeders' Cup, because 1:49, one of the slowest of the 54 Darley Alcibiades, jacked up to a mile and a 16th about 20 plus years ago. But She Says It Best makes every pole a winning one at nearly 10-1, returns $21.40, and a couple of horses that we saw at Saratoga complete the trifecta. Ex Chalis, who was the 2-1 favorite, ran around the track in basically a stalking position, exiting a runner-up position in the Arlington, Washington Lassie, but just wasn't able to make any headway versus She Says It Best. Finishing third was Performing Diva, the 9-2, the second choice. Broke her maiden in her second start at Saratoga, as did Ex Chalis. She Says It Best, though, won the debut, won a listed stakes race, is 4 for 6 now lifetime, has always shown good early speed, excluding her second start, which was at the debutante at Churchill Downs, getting a nice 10-1 on She Says It Best in Friday's 54th running of the Darley Alcibiades, with a final running time of a very pokey 1:49 flat. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with the weekend stakes from Keeneland Racecourse. Please stay with us.
Slugall in between them, those three in a dramatic finish.
Tis now wins it for America!
It's going to be a three-horse photo finish in the turn. Here's the wire.
The Breeders' Cup World Thoroughbred Championships. 8 races, 8 world champions. One unforgettable day.
Off-track betting is taking wagering on many tracks across the country, from New York to California, Philadelphia to Kentucky, New Jersey to Texas, and you can wager on any of these from the convenience of your own home simply by opening an OTB Phonabet account. You'll receive reliable, courteous, and prompt service 7 days a week. And with our fully computerized system, it's guaranteed your bet will be received the moment you give it to any one of our OTB telephone betting agents. Convenience? That's the whole idea behind a telephone betting account. Stop into your nearest branch for more details.
Welcome back, and continuing with the stakes races from Keeneland, we move on to Saturday, where they had 3 stakes races. First up, the 153rd running of the Phoenix Stakes. This is a 6-furlong sprint. This year's edition, no graded stakes winners in 2005. The favorite, Buona Charlie, last graded stakes winner for him, the 2004 Amsterdam at Saratoga.
And this time they are off. Danieltown is out firing for the early lead. And there's Danieltown to put ahead in front early. Corbin Gold will go with him, and Elusive Jazz joins them up on the outside. Premium Saltine comes out running fourth, but is caught in the center of the track as they move for the far turn. Now third, just a half length off the leader. 15 rounds is against the rail, 3 lengths from the front and closing that gap. Then a margin of nearly 10 more to Wild Tail. Buona Charlie is next to last, and level playing field is the trailer, 21-4, the time for the opening quarter. Midway on the far turn, Danieltown leads it by a half length. The Premium Saltine, who's second. Elusive Jazz is third on the far outside. And then 15 rounds is against the rail fourth, 2 lengths off the lead and looking for an open lane. Corbin Gold is next, a long way back to Wild Tail, Buona Charlie, and level playing field. The front 4 are in a line. Elusive Jazz on the far outside up to put ahead in front. Premium Saltine is second. They're at the 8th pole. 15 rounds. Needs to find something quick. Still third at the rail. Final furlong of the Phoenix Breeders' Cup. Elusive Jazz opens up on a 5-length lead. A late run from Wild Tail on the far outside. Elusive Jazz pulls the upset. Elusive Jazz by 4 lengths over Wild Tail, who was up for second, and Premium Saltine was third.
And Elusive Jazz in the 13th career start for Bobby Barnett. Second stakes, won at Arlington. Was a neck behind 15 rounds. This horse won very impressively. Slow running time, as I mentioned earlier, didn't seem to be the deepest Phoenix Breeders' Cup, which has re-energized itself over the last couple of years. Horses prepping for the Breeders' Cup Sprint. Not sure what we're going to get out of this race. Elusive Jazz shown an atypical Keeneland winning style. Basically ranged up wide, 4 wide on the turn, and often we don't see this type of trip finding success at Keeneland. But Robbie Alvarado sitting on the best horse, even though the best horse returned $17. Buona Charlie only beat 1 horse. That was Danieltown, who made the early pace. Buona Charlie raced well last year, wrapping up the 3-year-old season in the Breeders' Cup, but just hasn't come back to form in a very abbreviated season. So the 153rd Phoenix, not sure what we're going to have coming out of this into the Breeders' Cup, but for Elusive Jazz, a very, very nice day for Bobby Barnett. And a final running time, as I mentioned, Keeneland's racing surface has been very slow to start, 1:11 and 3. Second stakes race on Saturday, the Grade 1 Lanes End Breeders' Futurity. And as I looked over the history of this race over the last 20-25 years, just a regal list of 2-year-old winners elevated to Grade 1 status a couple of seasons ago. 12 horses entered for Saturday's Grade 1 Lanes End Breeders' Futurity.
They're at the post, and they're off. Charlie Tango broke sharply. Dawn of War is moving very quickly. Laity is there from the outside. Sharp Attack has speed down toward the inside. Cool Creek has an awkward move headed to the first turn, and Dawn of War gets the advantage and gets over next to the rail and leads it now by 3 parts of a length. Laity goes second. Sharp Attack is racing in third. Cool Creek is fourth. Greater Fool is fifth on the outside of Cat coming at you. Then Rungus, who's 3 wide around the turn. High Cotton had a ground-saving trip, but he is racing 10 lengths off the early leader. Then reaffirmed between horses, Kid Lemonade on the far outside. Charlie Tango broke well, but now finds himself next to last. And the late running Stream Cat is the trailer. Now within a dozen lengths of the leader at the midpoint of the backstretch. The opening quarter went in 23 and 4/5 seconds. They got a half in 48 and 2. And Dawn of War sets the tempo, leading it by a length and a half. Laity is right off the leader's flank now in second. Sharp Attack is third toward the inside as they enter the far turn. Greater Fool is fourth on the outside, still 5 lengths off the lead. Then Cat coming at you, who moves up down toward the rail as they approach the quarter pole. Rungus and then High Cotton, and High Cotton still is lingering at center pack, some 9 lengths from the leader. Dawn of War streaks by the quarter pole, leading Laity, then Sharp Attack, who's 3 lengths off the lead, turning for home, and Cat Comanacci is 4th. Dawn of War trying to get one final furlong, leading Sharp Attack. Cat Comanacci, Laity is now 4th toward the inside. Stream Cat is 5th. Dawn of War went right to the front of the start. He leads Cat Comanacci by 4, then Sharp Attack and Stream Cat. Dawn of War will spring an upset here in the Lanes End Breeders' Futurity at odds of 36 to 1. The time 1 minute 48 and 3/5 seconds.
And there you have the big upset winner showing Keeneland type running style. Dawn of War at 36 to 1 for Dale Romans, Ken and Sarah Ramsey. John Jacinto winning his first Grade 1 in the United States. Laity was the favorite. Talked about Saturday that Laity was in a tough post position. I was not that enamored with his victory in the Cradle Stakes most recently for Frankie Brothers and Claiborne Farms. Laity was the 3-1 favorite, finished off the board. Never looked very interested in the running. One of the most interesting things out of this race, Laity, 4-1 in the recent Cradle Stakes victory on the front end. Dawn of War was the favorite in the same Cradle Stakes at 8-5, finished second, a well-beaten second, almost a dozen lengths, but comes back and runs huge at a $74.60 mutual, once again making every pole a winning one. Drew off to win by better than 3 lengths, as I mentioned. Just a real good job by Dale Romans training this horse up. And we talk about horses running less well when they run better than odds and come back. Well, this horse did the reverse, ran much better after being a loser as a favorite at 8-5. They let Dawn of War get away at 36 to 1, and he did get away by making every pole a winning one. As I mentioned, once again, the surface at Keeneland excruciatingly slow, by far the slowest Breeders' Futurity since its 1.16 distance. You see the final running time up there. Sky Mesa had the previous slowest one, 1:46.3, and the only other guy who ran slow was Tasso, who went on to win the 85 Breeders' Cup Juvenile along with the championship, 1:46. So the Breeders' Futurity this year, long shot winner, Dawn of War, slow racing surface at Keeneland, so a lot of adjustments to be made for the Breeders' Cup. The final running time of Saturday's Grade 1, 1:48.3. They're not done with the Grade 1 races from Saturday at Keeneland. Next up, the $600,000 Shadwell Turf Mile.
They're at the post. And they're off. Gulch Approval comes right out, hustling for the lead. Cool Conductor is there. Vanderlyn on the far outside. Durban Thunder has early speed. And there goes Durban Thunder moving up at the entry to the first turn. Durban Thunder clears the inside traffic, gets over next to the rail, leading Gulch Approval by 2 lengths midway on the turn. Vanderlyn travels in the 3rd position. Remind is caught 3 wide in 4th. Then Cool Conductor between horses is 5th. Alingi is 6th against the rail, running just over 5 lengths off the lead. 3 Valleys is right behind her. Then Seeking Answers. Host is running next to last, and Ad Valorem is the trailer for the move up the backstretch, nearly 10 lengths off the lead. The opening quarter in 24 1/5 seconds. Durban Thunder is the leader, 3 parts of a length. Gulch Approval inching forward toward the outside in second. A gap of 5 more to Vanderlyn, who's 3rd. Cool Conductor is 4th toward the inside. Then Remind in the center of the course. 3 Valleys between horses. Alingi, the filly, is down toward the rail, and she is running some 7 lengths off the leader. Midway on the final turn, Host on her outside. And just over a quarter mile to come. Gulch Approval alongside of Durban Thunder. 4 more lengths to Vanderlyn. Cool Conductor back toward the inside. 3 Valleys swings toward the outside. Nothing from Alingi. Moving by the 8th pole, the Shadwell Turf Mile. Vanderlyn. Host is charging on the far outside. Gulch Approval is there. Host is mowing them down. Here's Host outside of Vanderlyn to get the lead in the closing strides. Host to take the Shadwell Turf Mile by a half length. Vanderlyn was 2nd. Gulch Approval was 3rd. Remind was 4th. The time 1 minute 37 3/5 seconds.
Well, familiar name to Naira racing fans, a host at better than 10-1 who kicked in very late while not changing leads to score the neck victory over Vanderlyn. Gulch approval. My notes say that this runner ran a huge race. Bobby Frankel sent out the two favorites in this race. The favorite was Three Valleys coming out of that fast race at Del Mar, and please note that the racing surface at Del Mar was unbelievably fast the weekend of Three Valleys victory over Labor Day. Pat Valenzuela was in for the ride, finished 5th. Alinghi, the filly that we saw run very impressively in the Boston Spa at Saratoga, was the second choice at 2-1, only beat 2 horses under Edgar Prado, and she didn't even pick up a hoof during the running. 10-1 winner, Host, $22.80. 27-1, Vanderlyn. Gulch approval, 28-1. We don't have Remind up here, but Remind was 27-1. The Superfecta at Keeneland in the Shadwell Turf Mile for your $2 investment, ladies and gentlemen, $80,834. The winner, the Chilean bred, trained by Todd Pletcher, ridden by Rafael Bejarano, owned by the Melnick Racing Stable. The final running time, 1 minute, 37-3. Wrapping up the weekend at Keeneland, we had a couple of stakes races on Sunday. First up was the Woodford. This is 5.5 furlongs on the turf, and a very familiar name in here, Battle One, who was very impressive in the Grade 1 Forgo at Saratoga. Didn't win the laurels, but all puns intended. He won the battle, but he lost the war. Coming back at 3-5 in the turf, also coming back as the defending champion in the Woodford.
And they're off. Mid-watch, Ridge Runner, Justice for Austin all have speed. Justice for Austin moves up the inside to get the early advantage by a head. Then Ridge Runner, mid-watch. Battle One is down toward the inside. There goes Atticus Christie in the center of the course, up within a half length of the leader. Sergeant Burt moves up behind him. Lucky Pulpit between horses is 4 lengths off the lead. Rockhurst to his outside as they enter the far turn. Resich is next to last. Del Mar Show, the trailer, 10 lengths from the front. 22 seconds for the opening quarter. Mid-watch. Atticus Christie on the outside. Ridge Runner toward the inside. Sergeant Burt sweeping 4 wide. And Battle One behind that foursome, looking for an open lane, a length and a half off the lead. Lucky Pulpit, then Rockhurst at the center of the course. Battle One is still looking for room. Meanwhile, Sergeant Burt coming forward to challenge mid-watch. Atticus Christie between horses. Rockhurst on the far outside. Battle One is still behind that front trio. Final furlong of the Woodford. Here's Sergeant Burt, Atticus Christie, mid-watch, Rockhurst, Battle One, not today. Sergeant Burt takes it by a neck in 104 flat.
Well, the defending champion and the 3-5 favorite never got a chance to run, just didn't have enough room to stretch his legs, finishes off the board 5th. 4 horses in the photo finish, and the Exacta comes out of a recently run stakes race over at Kentucky Downs, and Sergeant Burt makes it another victory for Rafael Bejarano, who had a terrific opening weekend at Keeneland. He is a turf sprint specialist, 7 starts now, 3 victories, 2 seconds, and 1/3. Wins by a neck over Atticus Christie, ridden by Robbie Alvarado. Mid-watch finishes a neck back, so we have 2 necks separating the trifecta, and Rockhurst comes from way back in the pack at 33-1. The Superfecta in the Woodford on Sunday for your $2 investment, not quite the Shadwell Turf Mile, but it did come back better than $31,000. Sergeant Burt's final running time for the 5.5 furlongs Woodford, 104 flat. The second stakes race on Sunday, just a terrific, terrific stakes race. This is the WinStar Galaxy. Doesn't have a long history. It's been run at 1 mile and 3/16 up until this year, shortened up to 1 mile. Terrific field in here, and just one of the most underrated racehorses I've seen over the last couple years. Juddmonte, I call him the Juggernaut. They send out so many high-quality horses, and Intercontinental maybe one of the most underrated ones. She is a handful to ride. Jerry Bailey has had previous outstanding success with her. So let's go to Sunday's running of the WinStar Galaxy.
And they're off. Pretty Jane broke quickly, so did Shakinaj, Intercontinental, then Cat Doggone, River Belle, Lorena on the far outside, Ticker Tape, Very, Very, and Wind, who's last but right there and placed outward from the rail, heading into the first turn. Intercontinental moves up from the outside, gets the lead away from Shakinaj, as Lorena now takes second on the outside by a neck. Cat Doggone is fourth from in between horses. River Belle behind her. Wind is caught wide around the first turn. Ticker Tape is in between horses, running 5 lengths from the lead. Pretty Jane is now to her inside, and Very, Very moves wide from last, still just 6 lengths covering the field. The quarter, 24 and 3/5 seconds. Intercontinental sets the pace, leading it 1.5 lengths. Lorena goes second, 3/4 of a length. Shakinaj stays toward the inside in third. Then Cat Doggone. Wind is in the center of the course, 3.5 lengths off the leader. Pretty Jane down toward the rail. Then Ticker Tape, River Belle, and Very, Very is last. They got the half in 48 and 4/5 seconds. Intercontinental leads at 3/4 of a length midway on the far turn. Lorena is second. Shakinaj stays toward the inside. Then Cat Doggone. Wind is still in the center of the course, now 5 lengths off the lead. Ticker Tape needs to find something fast. River Belle angles wide. Pretty Jane toward the rail. Very, Very is last. Intercontinental is chased by the 8th pole, but she leads it by 3 lengths. Lorena is next. And then comes Cat Doggone. Wind on the far outside. It's the final furlong of the WinStar Galaxy. Intercontinental fending off the challenge of Cat Doggone thus far. Wind is running on late. Here comes the line. Intercontinental takes it by 3/4 of a length. Wind ran huge to be second. The time 1 minute 37 and 2/5 seconds.
And there's just not a lot to add to Intercontinental except for the fact that she is one outstanding runner. She is a full to the Breeders' Cup champion Banks Hill, a half to Heat Hayes, all part of the Juddmonte juggernaut. But this effort, Jerry Bailey actually had less work to do than he has previously had to. She seemed to relax, at least as much as Intercontinental is apt to relax on the front end. She was never headed. Wind ran well under John Velasquez. It's a couple defeats in a row after winning consecutive races on the turf, undefeated, lost in the Beverly D, lost in an impossible spot here. The WinStar Galaxy, we've talked through other races over the last 20 years, have been shortened up, and I think they have been hurt greatly. But the WinStar Galaxy, shortened up for the first time, I think has found a home at a mile, similar to the Matriarch out at Hollywood Park in the early part of the fall. And we just saw a tour de force performance for Intercontinental. Now, we're not sure if she's going to go to the Breeders' Cup, Filly and Mare Turf. That's 1.25 miles versus some heavy hitters. Bobby Frankel already has multiple runners who will be specialists at that distance. My thinking is that Intercontinental will pass on the Breeders' Cup, and she will go out to Hollywood Park and attempt to defend her victory in last year's Matriarch. 19 for 21 hit the boards for Intercontinental, 12 of those victories, and at a mile, she is 5 for 8. She is a very good 5 for 8. When she lost the Just a Game this past summer at Belmont Park, Sand Springs had a big edge on her, but Intercontinental, one of the finest middle distance fillies on the turf that I've seen in the past generation. Frankel, Juddmonte, Bailey, a triumvirate we've been saying for the past couple years with regularity. Intercontinental odds on she returns $3.60 with a final running time of 1:37 and 2. And the Pièges de Resistance at Keeneland wrapping up their weekend, their stakes proliferation, ready for the Breeders' Cup. The Juddmonte Spinster, 1.1 miles for 3-year-olds and up, fillies and mares at 1.1 miles.
They're at the post. And they're off in the Juddmonte Spinster. Pampered Princess and Tam Wheel both have early speed as expected. Cape Side Lady comes away running in third. Bending Strings is out fourth. Winning Season comes away running in fifth. Then Isola Pubella, who's in between horses, racing 5 lengths off the early leader. Misfortunate to her outside. Pleasant Home back toward the rail. Hallery Lee is 3 wide around the first turn. Go Girlfriend Go is next to last. And Santa Candida is the early trailer. The opening quarter went in 24 seconds flat, and Tam Wheel has has the lead. Tam Wheel by just over 2 lengths onto the backstretch. Pampered Princess stays outward from the rail, second, a half length. Bending Strings is third to her inside. Cape Side Lady moves up on the outside from fourth into third. Now to challenge for second, and there goes Cape Side Lady. Pampered Princess moving with her. They're both alongside the leader, Tam Wheel. Gap of 2 lengths to Bending Strings. Winning season on her outside. Isola Pubella against the rail, 5 lengths off the lead. Gap of 2 to Misfortunate. Hallery Lee on the outside. Pleasant Home against the rail is 10 lengths off the lead. Then Santa Candida and Go Girlfriend Go is last. They got the half in 49 seconds flat. Pampered Princess on the outside, challenging Tam Wheel. Cape Side Lady goes third. Bending Strings is looking for room. She's hard held in fourth. Winning season angles wide in fifth. Isola Pubella is toward the rail in sixth, still 4 lengths off the lead. Then Misfortunate. Pleasant Home is gearing up, but she needs room. She's still 6 from the front. They turn for home. Quarter mile to come. Pampered Princess, Cape Side Lady. They are the top 2, separated by a neck. Bending Strings is next. Pleasant Home is angling wide to the center of the track. Nothing yet from Isola Pubella. They're in the stretch. Cape Side Lady, Bending Strings coming on with Pleasant Home on the outside. Pampered Princess is fighting on down toward the inside. What a finish to the Juddmonte Spinster. And Pampered Princess is game. Cape Side Lady is there. Pleasant Home is still third. Pampered Princess will pull the upset and takes the 50th running of the Juddmonte Spinster. She won it by 2. Close for second, either Pleasant Home or Cape Side Lady. Behind them, Bending Strings was fourth.
And this Spinster, not the best, deepest field we've seen through the years. The 50th running. Betting spread out through the lane. Pampered Princess, though, I have to say, put in a performance that maybe belied the past performances of the entire field. In my opinion, Eddie Castro deserves double jock fee for the effort that he did to find the winner's circle for Marty Wolfson and Martin Cherry to win the very prestigious Juddmonte Spinster. Often I find horses that look like a winner, maybe 4, even 5 furlongs out from the line. Pampered Princess never looked like a winner until about inside the 8th pole. Stalking the pace in between horses, asked to exert early energy repeatedly. Then looked like was beaten when Cape Side Lady actually made the front at the 8th pole under Chris DiCarlo at 13-1. I liked Pleasant Home in this race, who was breaking from the rail for Shug McGahee and the Phipps stable and running against the grain of the track at Keeneland, where usually speed is so dominant. Pleasant Home ranged up on the outside, was able to finish a neck ahead of Cape Side Lady, but at about the 8th pole, Pampered Princess rebroke, took command of the Spinster in a way that I'm not so sure I saw her having after running early. I thought she was going to have no chance in the lane, but Pampered Princess ran all 9 furlongs, deserves the bulk of the $500,000 purse in the Spinster. This is an offspring of Indian Charlie, just a terrific, terrific race from an unheralded previous runner, Pampered Princess. Pleasant Home, a good second place, was getting better than 6-1, was running against the grain of Keeneland. Cape Side Lady, boy, at double-digit odds, this New York runner for Todd Pletcher looked like she was home. Bending Strings looked very comfortable. She finished 4th. She looked comfortable behind the leaders early. Tam Wheel, early pace setter, backed up, only defeated 1 horse. The final running time for Sunday's Spinster was 1:53 and 4 on Keeneland's very slow opening weekend main dirt course. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be going over the races from Oak Tree at Santa Anita and Belmont Park. Please stay with us.
Another Breeders' Cup Championship moment. On a sunny afternoon at New York's Belmont Park, 2-year-old sensation Meadow Star looked to complete her season undefeated with a victory in the $1 million juvenile for fillies.
Meadow Star taking command, leading the way and leaving the others behind in the wake of her brilliance. A perfect season for Meadow Star.
For Meadow Star, this crowning achievement was her Breeders' Cup Championship moment.
Who do you like today at the Breeders' Cup?
I like the sprint.
I like the fillies.
I like the horse with the classic European breeding.
We like the Daily Double.
I like the 27-1 shot.
I like winning.
I like my horse.
I like my horse.
I like my horse.
I like calling 8 championship races on one day.
Who do you like today? Who do you like today? Who do you like today?
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Horses and Courses. 7 races to go on our holiday weekend. We'll go out to the West Coast. The Oak Tree Meeting at Santa Anita. 2 stakes races to bring you. First up, the Grade 1 Ancient Title at 6 furlongs. Not the deepest Grade 1 6 furlong sprint that you will see, but we have the return of Captain Squire.
And away they go to a perfect start. Captain Squire from the inside gate and Bilo from the outside are both away very fast. Zanzibar on the far side. Got a ghost of a chance as the grey and the black colours up alongside McCann's Mojave gets a tap on the shoulder but goes up third. Bear in the Woods is only 2 lengths off the leaders, and Indian Country the early trailer. Past a half-mile pole they go, and Captain Squire along the inside. Up alongside of him is McCann's Mojave. Bilo on the outside is third. Zanzibar fourth. Got a ghost of a chance now losing ground. Bear in the Woods is 6 lengths off the leaders, and 4 more to Indian Country. 5/16 to go, and Captain Squire is just in front, taken on by McCann's Mojave. Bilo is in with a shot on the outside. Zanzibar running a good one from fourth, and then Bear in the Woods. They turn for home. It's wide open. Captain Squire down at the rail. Up alongside Bilo, McCann's Mojave, Zanzibar grandstand side, and here comes Indian Country from last. And Indian Country's flying home down the centre of the track. Zanzibar's going on with it too. Zanzibar, Indian Country, Captain Squire. Indian Country, Captain Squire comes again. Here's the wire. Captain Squire came back to win it by a neck to Zanzibar. Indian Country then got a ghost of a chance. McCann's Mojave was fifth.
And Captain Squire raced well in here, was down inside from the #1 post position and was never shut off for Alex Solis. So this 2-to-1 favorite was able to make the running after starting a step slowly, was just, you know, wasn't urged, was able to use his early speed, get position, and as Santa Anita has been known to do, front end speed could be very dangerous. And Captain Squire wins the Grade 1 Ancient Title, only the 2nd favorite to find the winner's circle in the Ancient Title since 1993, and the other favorite, boy, he was a good one, especially in the year 2000, Kona Gold. Jeff Mullins done a good job with Captain Squire. 2 years ago, Captain Squire had been a player in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. Since then has had so few races, an offspring of Flying Chevron, who we saw run in New York. 2-to-1 favorite, made every pole a winning one after a slow start, but had no traffic trouble breaking from the inside. The final running time for the Grade 1 Ancient Title, 1:08.4. The next stakes race we're going to show you from Oak Tree, maybe the best performance of the weekend, and it should have been expected. Singletary, last year's conqueror of the Breeders' Cup Mile, a very limited campaign this year. He raced in last year's Oak Tree Mile. This has become one of the premier United States prep races for the Breeders' Cup Mile, and I think we saw a very good performance in this Grade 2 at Santa Anita.
And away they go to a perfect start. On the inside, Wild Buddy is quickest into stride. King of Happiness on the grandstand side. Between those two comes Design for Luck. Down at the rail we have Wild Buddy. On the wrong side of him, going up on the inside, as we all love, Elena, then Buckland Manor, and now Singletary is taken back last. They were in pretty tight here. Only 4 lengths covers them all. Into the turn they go. Wild Buddy, the leader. Design for Luck is right there. We all love Elena. Scraping the paint in third, has taken a strong hold. King of Happiness on the outside. They're not going that fast out there. Buckland Manor in the gold colours between horses, and Singletary content to just idle along at the back. 4.5 off them. Down the backstretch they go, and Wild Buddy in front a length. Design for Luck second, then King of Happiness. We all love Elena at the rail, only 2 lengths off the leader. Alongside of that comes Buckland Manor, and Singletary still well within himself. He's content to stay last, 4.5 off the lead. Less than a half mile to go now, and they turn the pressure on. Wild Buddy kicks on for home with Design for Luck. King of Happiness on the outside. We all love Elena in the white at the rail. Then Buckland Manor, and let's see, Singletary's now starting to move in. And here comes Singletary from last. He's going to have to go wide. They come to the top of the lane. Wild Buddy at the rail. Designed for Luck in the white blinkers. King of Happiness. Singletary on the grandstand side. Buckland Manor, we all love Elena. Homeward bound, and Singletary's just given his head. Very, very confidently ridden. The reins just shaken at him. Designed for Luck tries to go with him, but a scintillating performance from Singletary. Beautifully handled by David Flores. They win a length and a half. Second will be Designed for Luck. Then there'll be the photo. Buckland Manor, we all love Elena, and Wild Buddy, and King of Happiness.
Well, Singletary, it's hard to imagine a better performance prepping for the Breeders' Cup. He did not seem fully extended, was the co-favorite, technically the second choice at 2-1 behind. We all love Elena, but Singletary exiting the Eddie Reed was last, not too far back, but last up the backstretch. And it seemed as if whenever David Flores wanted to, he was going to make the front. A very, very impressive run for Singletary. And even though the charts don't show it, ladies and gentlemen, the rails were up at Santa Anita, so we look at the fractions with a leery eye, but the performance visually put in by Singletary. We haven't said this over the last 21 years going into the Breeders' Cup Mile, but it appears as if the United States-based horses, whether it's Singletary or Leroy de Santa Mo, they seem to be the heavy hitters, and we have Artie Schiller, the Belmont horse. So the Europeans this year, who many times have seemed to have this $1.5 million Breeders' Cup Mile over the barrel, this year they better be hunting for bear, because between Singletary and Leroy de Santa Mo, some horse is going to have to do some serious running to defeat either of them. The final running time for the 20th running of the Oak Tree Breeders' Cup Mile at Grade 2, 1:34 and 2. And now we move to the stakes races from Belmont Park, and unfortunately, Mother Nature won the day on Saturday. Rains came Friday night, very significant rains over the weekend. The Jamaica figured to be a very good 3-year-old turf race at 9 furlongs, washed off the turf, 2 main track onlys, and 1 horse from the main body stayed in, so only a field of 3 for the 56th running of the Jamaica. A nice person here for $300,000 for this triumvirate.
And they're off, and Woodlander gets away first. Watchman was away well, and Crown Point was off third. The field moving up the chute, and it's going to be Woodlander to spar with Watchman for that early lead. Watchman on the outside, Woodlander on the inside. 3 lengths behind them, it's Crown Point. On to the main track now. Watchman synchronized with Woodlander. They spar through an opening quarter in a tepid 24 2/5 seconds. Jose Espinosa gives a bit more rein to Woodlander and leads by a neck now. Javier Castellano rating Watchman. They're tracked by Crown Point. Down the backstretch run. The first quarter went in 24 2/5 seconds. They picked the tempo up here. The half went in 47 1. Woodlander by a half a length. Watchman counters, tries to get back to that lead. On the outside, Crown Point third. Around the far turn, midway on the far turn, it is still Woodlander holding a narrow advantage over Watchman. Johnny Velasquez says go with Crown Point. They're in a drive here, an all-out drive, but still a length and a half behind. Coming to the top of the stretch, and it's Watchman who takes over. Watchman opens up, and Woodlander couldn't stay with Watchman. Now Crown Point trying to run at Watchman. And they come down to the final furlong. Watchman's got the lead. Castellano goes left-handed. They hold it by 2 lengths over Crown Point. Woodlander's going to be third into the final 16th. Watchman clear. Watchman will win. Watchman first, Crown Point second, Woodlander.
And there you have Watchman 1-2 on the board and in your hearts for Javier Castellano. Nice to see Pat Reynolds score a victory in here. Be interesting to see what the Graded Stakes Committee does after reviewing this race, if the Jamaica Handicap is able to retain its Grade 3 status in this 3-horse field. Not much in here. Crown Point finished second, almost a dozen lengths in front of Woodlander, who picks up the $30,000 part of the purse. Of course, I don't think Darley Stable will be waiting for the check to clear, but what might have been in the Jamaica handicap, if it had been a 1 1/8 on the turf, ends up being a 3-horse field and a 9-furlong sloppy sealed dirt race with Watchman making it look easy at 1-2 with a final running time of 1:49.1. And the waters get very sticky with the next 2 races on the card, the 2 premier races on the NYRA calendar. First up, the Frizette, back to a mile where it was for so many years. We had a sloppy sealed racetrack. Ado, who has been so solid in her brief career. I liked Along the Sea, breaking from the outside. Let's rack it up and go to Saturday's running of the Frizette.
And they're off. Along the Sea, breaking well on the outside. Ado comes up the inside. My Kind of Saint is there in heck of a rush. And it's My Kind of Saint to knock heads early with Ado. And they hook up in the first furlong here. And My Kind of Saint's got that lead by a neck. Ado is second by a length and a half. Along the Sea is third. Then in between horses, it's heck of a rush now fourth. Miss Norman fifth toward the inside. Keeneland Cat is sixth, about 6 lengths from the lead. Catch My Fancy is rating in behind horses. Then Philanthropy Lady down toward the inside. She's eighth. 5 lengths to the trailer. Better Now. The field moving for the far turn. My Kind of Saint, the pacemaker, and the favorite Ado's not far behind, just a length and a half away, running in second. There goes Along the Sea, advancing to third with a half mile to go. The quarter in 22-1, the half was 45-1, and now Ado makes her move. Ado makes her move midway round the far turn, getting on even terms with My Kind of Saint. Along the Sea just to their outside third. And then it's Catch My Fancy and Keeneland Cat. They are fourth and fifth. Miss Norman sixth toward the inside, and Better Now. Coming to the top of the stretch, My Kind of Saint, Ado, Along the Sea, Keeneland Cat on the outside. Just in behind them, it's Catch My Fancy. They're at the top of the stretch. Ado short lead on the outside, Along the Sea, and those two doing battle with 1 furlong to go. Johnny Velasquez is all over Ado, and she's responding. Holding on to that lead. Along the Sea took a bold run at her, but could not get by. Ado, the winner of the Frizette, by 2 lengths on the line. Along the Sea was second. Keeneland Cat was third, and Better Now was fourth.
And Ado, very powerful from the Todd Pletcher, Michael Tabor, Mrs. John Magnor, Derek Smith, John Velasquez, 8-5 on the board. For a moment there, I thought my pick, Along the Sea, who was nearly 13-1, looked to be in a very good position to score the upset, but Ado rebroke, scored comfortably to win by 2 lengths, and what seemed like, at the time, very reasonable early fractions, 22-1, 45-1, 110-4. They just walked home, as you see, that final running time. This is an offspring of the young sire, El Corridor, out of Irene's Talking, who was by at the threshold. We have some off-track pedigree there. We have talent with Ado. We saw her win the Grade 2 spin-away at Saratoga. Now she'll be waiting for the rematch again with Folklore, the very impressive winner of the Matron. But in Saturday's $500,000 Frizette, Ado on a sloppy sealed racetrack, 138 flat. Next up, about 40 minutes later, half a dozen entered in the extremely prestigious Champagne Stakes, back to a mile, first time since the Hare won it in 1993, the 134th running, a rematch from with Henny Hughes and First Samurai, the rematch from the Hopeful Stakes, when Henny Hughes didn't put up much of a fight and First Samurai continued undefeated.
And they're off. First Samurai gets off to a good beginning. On the far outside, there goes Deputy Glitters, but First Samurai got away quick, but then quickly dropped back to fifth. In the meantime, it's Too Much Bling and Henny Hughes. Too Much Bling is the leader. Javier Castellano trying to throttle down that speed and settle him down. Henny Hughes is right there to keep him company. 2 lengths back to Superfly. First Samurai now getting underway again. He's running a little erratically in the early stages here. And then it's Deputy Glitters and a long way back to Menacing the Trailer. Up the backstretch. Too Much Bling. Henny Hughes right there with him. Those two through a quarter in 21 3/5 seconds. A wild speed duel here that involves Henny Hughes and Too Much Bling. And First Samurai's not far behind him. Here's the half.
43-3. It's almost too fast to believe. Around the far turn, and Henny Hughes has fought his way to a narrow lead. Too Much Bling second on the inside, and First Samurai now makes his move as they come to the top of the stretch, and it's a big break. It's about 9 lengths back to the fourth horse, Menacing, coming to the top of the stretch. Nothing left for Too Much Bling, and here they are entering the stretch. On the outside, First Samurai, Henny Hughes to his inside. Those two head-to-head. They've gone 3/4 in 1:08.3. They're down to the final furlong here. First Samurai up for the lead. Jerry Bailey goes left-handed to keep him straight here with a 16th to go. It's First Samurai in front. Henny Hughes is second, Menacing up for third, and they're coming down to the finish, and it will be First Samurai. First Samurai wins it by 2 lengths on the line. Henny Hughes was second. Superfly came on to be a well-beaten third, and Menacing was fourth.
Well, Henny Hughes put up a much better fight than he did on August 27th at Saratoga, but it wasn't nearly good enough. The odds basically inverted from the hopeful First Samurai. This time 3-4 on the board for Jerry Bailey and Frankie Brothers, and this is a good one, ladies and gentlemen. Undefeated by the brilliant runner and producer already, Giants Causeway. First Samurai has done so little wrong. He's had some lugging in problems, but Frankie Brothers has been working on it ardently, trying to straighten him out. Henny Hughes put in a precipitously better performance this time off of the hopeful experience. And one thing about the third place runner, Superfly, at the top of the stretch, Superfly looked as if he would beat no horses and would be distanced in this race. But Superfly for Nick Zito, coming off of his maiden victory in a stakes race going 2 turns at Delaware, you know, re-engaged, didn't quit, and ended up hitting the board under Ibar Kova, finishing third. And once again, just as with the Frizette, what we're going to be able to take out of Saturday's Champagne Stakes on a sloppy sealed racetrack is certainly very dicey. Now, the times in this race, as you heard Tom Durkin's call, almost unimaginable. 21-3, 43-3 for 2-year-olds going a mile, and then 1:08.3 on the sloppy sealed racetrack. And you see the impressive final running time, certainly when in comparison to the 2-year-old fillies in the Frizette. First Samurai trips the teletimer in 1:36.1. Sunday's feature is a sprint for the fillies and mares. It's the Gallant Bloom handicap at 6.5 furlongs.
And they're off. Smoky Glacken breaks alertly on the outside. Umpatito is there, and on the inside, it's Sensibly Chic up the backstretch. Smoky Glacken out for the lead. Sensibly Chic on the inside is second, and Umpatito on the outside third. And then it's Travelator down on the rail. Travelator has room on the inside now, moving up from fourth. 4 lengths back to Bank Audit, who's raiding off the rest of them as they race for the far turn. Smoky Glacken through a quarter in 22-4. The lead's a length and a half. On the outside, Umpatito is second. Then Travelator, followed closely by Sensibly Chic, who's taken to the outside now. And a break of another 3, back to Bank Audit, who's getting a little closer. Coming to the top of the stretch, Smoky Glacken. Here comes Umpatito. Here comes Sensibly Chic on the outside. Travelator down on the rail is fourth, and Bank Audit, they turn for home. The half went 46 seconds flat. Smoky Glacken and Umpatito head-to-head at the top of the stretch. Smoky Glacken holding on gamely. Umpatito on the outside. They're inseparable with 1 furlong to go. Travelator third and Sensibly Chic. It's still Umpatito and Smoky Glacken. They've been stride for stride the length of the stretch here, and it's going to come down to a photo that will go to Umpatito by a nostril in close quarters at the very end with Smoky Glacken. Travelator was third.
And very, very familiar faces in this handful. Nice to see the track condition. They did a superior job after Saturday's running and rainfalls Friday and Saturday. Sunday, the racetrack looked to be as good as you could imagine. Smoky Glacken, Bank Audit, Sensibly Chic. We've seen them all year in New York, but it was the longest shot on the board. Umpatito for Aaron Grider, Mark Schumann, Michael Gill, double-digit odds, 10-1. Wins by a nose. First, it looked as if Umpatito was going to win this race comfortably inside the 16th pole, and then all of a sudden it looked as though maybe Smoky Glacken was going to get the last laugh in the last jump, but Aaron Grider was able to hold on in Sunday's Grade 2, the Gallant Bloom, on a racetrack listed as good. The final running time, 1:16 and 1. And wrapping up the holiday action, we have Belmont Park's Monday Stakes race, the Pebble, originally a mile on the turf, and just as with the boys in the Jamaica on Saturday, washed off the turf, completely changed the context of the race. We had 7 entered in Monday's Pebbles.
And they're off. LC Tiffany and Neverlacken breaking together. There goes the gray Quail Run up and toward the lead. In between horses waited out, and on the inside here comes Cayuga's Waters as the field moves up the back stretch. Neverlacken short lead. Cayuga's Waters on the inside waited out, and Quail Run in between horses third and fourth. On the outside, Reddy's Gal is fifth. The break of 3 to Tividair. LC Tiffany trails the field down the back stretch. Neverlacken, Cayuga's Waters matching strides. The quarter in 23 1/5 seconds. Javier Castellano trying to settle down an anxious Quail Run, who's third in between horses. Waited out on the inside, saving ground while fourth, and Reddy's Gal alongside fifth. And it's a break of 5 back to Tividair and another 4 to LC Tiffany, the trailer, as they hit the half-mile pole with Cayuga's Waters in front. Gets a half in 45 4/5 seconds. Cayuga's Waters the leader. Neverlacken, Asper Run still a length behind in second. Quail Run on the outside, right there third. Waited out, moving through on the inside from fourth, Reddy's Gal. Then farther back, LC Tiffany getting on away from the back of the pack on the inside, Tividair. And as they turn for home, Cayuga's Waters turns it on and opens up by 4. Cayuga's Waters the leader at the top of the lane. Waited out is second now on the inside. Quail Run third. Neverlacken has faded to fourth. LC Tiffany fifth with just a furlong to go. Cayuga's Waters is a 3-length lead. Waited out, getting a bit closer at the 16th pole with Quail Run third. It's still Cayuga's Waters and waited out. Cayuga's Waters leg weary. Waited out a final try. Cayuga's Waters was saved by the wire. Waited out right there in a photo for win. And Quail Run third.
And there we have Cayuga's Waters, the 7-5 favorite, as Reddy's Gal, the 8-5 favorite, didn't beat a racehorse in the field of 7. And Cayuga's Water, Jerry Bailey, every pole a winning one on the good listed racetrack. And not to take anything away from Cayuga's Waters, but a very interesting anomaly on her past performances. She has been in 4 off-the-turf races in her brief career, has 3 victories and a second, and she adds the 13th running of the Pebbles for 3-year-old fillies to that resume. She broke from the inside. Jerry Bailey just at his absolute best for Bill Mott. Cayuga Waters' final running time in Monday's Pebbles, 1:37 flat. Well, that wraps up this week's edition of Horses and Courses as we march towards October 29th and the Breeders' Cup at Belmont Park. The vast majority of prep racing all done after Monday, so it's time to start doing our homework. Everyone have a great week. We'll see you next time.
Weber, I think, will probably show a little bit more speed. So this one is a mile and a 16th. I think one of the toughest distances to go wire to wire. I think a mile and an eighth is was probably a little bit easier, and actually a mile and a quarter, but a mile and 16th is one of those in-between route races. We don't see it too much here at Prairie Meadows. In fact, I believe this is the first mile and the 16th race of the season that is going through the charts here. Next, number 8, Mini Mast. Mini Mast trying to keep the winning streak alive for Prairie Meadows. Starts for Prairie Meadows.